CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
This is one of the most significant sports, infrastructure, and economic development opportunities that our beautiful city of Barrie has ever seen. And our community will feel the benefits for generations.
The city of Barrie will soon have a state-of-the-art outdoor stadium in the downtown. Good evening. We now know what will soon fill the empty land where Barrie Central Collegiate stood for more than 150 years. In a massive move this afternoon, the city announcing a new stadium and partnership with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Let's head to CTV's Luke Samard. He joins us live tonight from the future site. Luke.
Well, Sarah, a state-of-the-art soccer stadium will soon fill this field where the school once was, and a professional soccer team will be coming with it. The city of Barrie is building a brand new 3,500-seat outdoor stadium on Red Story Field at the former site of Barrie Central Collegiate.
This right here will be the most iconic small stadium in Canada. Every square foot of that stadium has been designed with the intention of soccer specific and football first.
But the stadium will see more than just that.
This is a site where you're going to be able to see soccer, rugby, lacrosse, all types of community meetings. Young people go in, practice, hone their talents, figure out how that they can better themselves, but also entertainment. This is a facility that's being built in a way that will allow for concerts and entertainment to take place.
The city fronting $26 million to start the project, which will total more than $130 million, including 450 new parking spots coming with it and having the capacity to hold more than 8,500 people.
What the city was looking at was putting a parkade to increase the parking in our downtown and near our waterfront. That's been a major need, so we were able to bring these two things together.
Also in the announcement, TFC2, part of MLS Next Pro, will also be relocating to Barrie from York.
What a day for the community. We're here to build a community club, and that means a lot when you really unpack what a community club is. It's a place for everybody to belong and a club that the community can rally behind for generations and generations.
On the heels of the World Cup, showing Canada has the space and motivation to create more stadiums.
But throughout the tournament, the narrative of the pathway and development has been consistent. And what is next? What's the opportunity for youth that are next? And this is a part of that story. There needs to be a lot more soccer stadiums built. There needs to be a lot more soccer infrastructure.
Hoping to turn the city of hockey fans into new soccer fans.
We're known as a hockey town here in Barrie, which we are, and we're big supporters of the Barrie Colts, but there's a lot more to our sports community than hockey.
Back live in the city's downtown near the future site of the stadium. City officials telling us today they hope to get shovels in the ground as soon as possible, with March 2028 being the scheduled completion date, and a professional soccer team playing for the 2028-2029 season. Sarah.
That's our Luke Samard reporting live tonight. Now, there are still a lot of unanswered questions, and with such potential on the horizon, we're going to expand on that conversation a little later in the newscast. Mayor Nuttall will join us here in the CTV Barrie studio to talk about the project and how it's going to be transforming the city. We are in the midst of the second heat wave of the summer, and while some are enjoying it, the weather, it can be dangerous. CTV's Jack Morris went to find out how people right across the region are dealing with the heat. Jack.
Yeah, Sarah, we're smack in the middle of it right now, and it's hard to complain given the winter that we had this past year, but let's just say that this week people are taking cooling down very seriously.
Another beach day for many.
The water's nice and refreshing. And if you get too cold from the water, outside of the water, it's really hot, so you can dry off really quickly.
I really love the heat, especially because my birthday is also in June, so it's really hot, and it's a great way to celebrate the summer.
This is better than the winter. I can certainly be outside and play, so throwing some sunscreen, it's great.
But not everyone's so lucky. Many still have to work, even as the temperatures push into the 40s with the Humidex.
Take a break every hour for about 5 minutes or so, and just make sure that you're paying attention to your coworkers. And if they're showing any signs of heat stress, then we'll go indoors and cool down or grab a cold drink.
Environment Canada says it hasn't been this hot on this day since 1995.
Today is the warmest day of the entire summer.
We've already had 12 days over 30 this year and 3 nights over 20. In a normal year, there's just 7, and it isn't over yet.
The actual heat warning that we have, the yellow-orange warning, may end for Barrie tonight or tomorrow, but it doesn't mean the end of the heat.
Of course, that's why cooling centers have opened up across our region, giving people with no place to go somewhere to get out of that heat.
Everybody needs to understand their limits, make sure that they're recognizing the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion or heat stroke, and taking care of all those around them as well.
Back at the beach, people here are doing what they can to stay cool while still having a little summer fun.
It's a great way to beat the heat because honestly I feel like swimming, it's just a fun thing, and I feel like a lot of people take advantage of swimming because they don't use these days for the best of their abilities when they could be enjoying it.
In a heat wave, any way to stay cool is a good one.
Now, Sarah, when I was talking to Dave Phillips this afternoon, he said we're not even into the hottest part of the year yet. The dog days of summer doesn't start for another 2 weeks here, and that's when he's expecting the temperatures to get really hot. Sarah.
That's Jack Morris reporting live for us tonight. Thanks, Jack. And as we often see when it's hot for long periods of time with very little rain, fire danger ratings increase. The town of Wasaga Beach is moving its rating to high, adding that people need to be cautious when having a campfire and make sure it's completely extinguished before leaving the site. The Wasaga Beach Fire Department posting on social media saying there's no current ban. You can still have a campfire, but with extra caution. Collingwood, Tiny, and Clearview Township have also set ratings to high. Let's jump into our first look at weather. Casey, another beautiful day, but do you find it a little too hot, or are you liking this?
Well, I don't mind the heat. I certainly don't mind the heat, that's for sure, but Mother Nature has introduced a new element to us, and it's the smoke, it's the haze. Yeah, putting up with the heat is one thing, but when you factor in the haze from more than 700 wildfires across northern Ontario and pretty much all of Canada, the smoke has to go somewhere, and it's drifting down. And ladies and gentlemen, the heat is one thing to contend with. When it's choky as far as the smoke goes, that's another. And let's continue on right now with our weather watches and warnings boards. And as we take a look at this, yes, we know the heat is omnipresent. It truly is, as is an air quality issue pretty much right now through the southern part of our viewing area, but it's encroaching north and it's making its way throughout our entire region, just like the heat. First look at the forecast, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by the GravelDrivewayGuide.com, your local gravel driveway expert. 29 degrees out here, Sarah. That's without the Human X. Factor in the Human X. Feeling more like about 35 degrees. The winds, thankfully, are picking up. Out of the west, 31 kilometers an hour. The gusts as high as about 50, blowing some of this hazy smoke around. This is a look at the temperature outside as we speak, and we're looking at 32 degrees. 32 degrees in Owen Sound, 31 in Collingwood. It looks like 30 degrees in Alliston. Where's the cool spot? Well, it looks to be like Orillia, 28, and certainly Gravenhurst, coolest. Oh no, wait, there's 26 Parry Sound. I need me specs with me. Continuing on, radar satellite images over the last little while, and no surprise here, we're not looking at a ton of cloud cover, but we are looking at hazy and smoky conditions over the next little while. And coming up, as Mr. Phillips said, retired former senior climatologist of Environment Canada, the heat is coming to an end as far as the extreme heat, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to remain hot. Just ahead, I'll let you know how hot we're going to remain. Back inside. All
right, thanks for that, Case. The OPP is continuing to look for witnesses after a crash in Tay Township right after Canada Day. Back on Thursday, July 2nd, officers were called to a single vehicle rollover at the Highway 400 northbound off-ramp leading to Highway 12. Police say the driver was seriously injured and was sent to a Toronto trauma center. Anyone with information or footage of that incident that can help the investigation is asked to come forward. And this week marks 1 year since a fatal hit and run in Cookstown, and the OPP has renewed its appeal to the public for more information. So this happened after midnight on Sunday, July 3rd of 2025. Officers were called to a report of a woman who was found dead on the shoulder of Highway 89 near 5th Side Road. The woman was identified as 35-year-old Jessica Follett, mother of 5 from Richmond Hill. Now, investigators say she had been walking along the highway when she was hit by a blue vehicle heading eastbound, which fled the scene. scene. But this vehicle right here, investigators add that the driver of this white SUV was traveling closely behind the suspect's vehicle and might be an important witness. They or anyone else with information is urged to contact police. Barrie police have shared more details about that two-car crash that shut down Fairview Road yesterday. According to police, a 64-year-old man was airlifted to a Toronto trauma centre with serious injuries. The other driver, a 62-year-old man from Barrie, wasn't hurt. The road was closed for 6 hours. That cause of that crash is still under investigation. The trial of an Orillia man accused of second-degree murder is underway in a Barrie courtroom. As CTV's Mike Arcelides reports, a jury will decide the fate of Brian Lancaster, who is charged with stabbing and killing a man. A warning, however, viewer discretion is advised.
Brian Lancaster sat behind his lawyers on trial, charged with second-degree murder in the stabbing of 25-year-old Kyle Farrows in late 2023 inside Farrows' downtown Orillia apartment. Why and how Farrows was killed will soon be up to the Barrie jury to decide as they determine whether Lancaster's actions were legally justified, overkill, or cold-blooded murder. Farrows was discovered lifeless in his bed, covered in blood. The Crown told the jury he had been stabbed about 24 times. The Crown said that the now 38-year-old Lancaster murdered Farrows while crashing at his place with his then 18-year-old girlfriend, Mackenzie Herod, who had previously dated Farrows. Lancaster and Herod, the court heard, knew Farrows still had feelings for Herod and lied to him about the relationship, telling him Lancaster was her older brother. Herod and Lancaster were both addicted to crack and homeless at the time. The Crown said Lancaster admitted he killed Farrows after hearing Herod scream that night. Lancaster told police he saw Farrows holding a knife to Herod's throat, about to sexually violate her in his bedroom. Lancaster said he intervened and wrestled the knife away. While the men were fighting on the bed, Herod admitted to hitting Farrows in the head with a bong to help Lancaster gain the upper hand. Lancaster told police he was cut a few times while trying to grab the knife, telling a detective both he and Herod stabbed Farrows, but remained in the apartment until a friend returned the next day. The couple told the woman that Farrows had left the apartment after having a mental breakdown. The woman then booked them a room at a nearby hotel. Hours later, the woman who had a key to the apartment returned and discovered Farrows' body and called 911. Herod took a plea deal earlier this year for being an accessory after the fact to murder and was sentenced to house arrest. Lancaster, who has been in custody since his arrest, has a lengthy criminal record that included convictions for assault and arson. In 2014, he sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl in her bedroom during a home invasion. The court heard testimony from a psychiatrist who said Lancaster was a moderate to high risk to reoffend. Lancaster argued he was high on drugs at the time of the assault.
The trial is scheduled to continue for 3 weeks. Mike Arcelides, CTV News, Barrie.
Several acres were burned in a southwest Simcoe grass fire today. It happened at the intersection of County Road 14 and County Road 21 near Agila-Tosarontio. As the township's deputy fire chief says, workers were in a hay field when a piece of machinery may have sparked and started the fire. Crews worked fast to get it under control, but a few acres were burned. Collingwood OPP is raising awareness about a fraud trend targeting people who have recently purchased new phones. Officers say they've been receiving reports of fraudsters calling victims right after they buy their new phone, claiming to be their provider and that they must return the device for a complete setup process. In other cases, callers allegedly offer discounts or promotions, asking victims to return their device and receive it for a discount. Those who fall for the scam return their phones and never get them back. Police are urging vigilance and to report anything that seems suspicious. And police are looking for information about expensive construction equipment that was stolen from Highway 11. This was in Gravenhurst. According to Bracebridge OPP, a $70,000 skid steer was stolen from a site between Kilworthy Road and Rainbow Circle sometime between Saturday and Sunday this past weekend. Police say they tracked it down to Whitby and managed to recover it, but the investigation is ongoing. And a follow-up to a story we brought you on Friday about a charitable organization that's had 2 vans stolen. Well, Dufferin OPP found the second in Shelburne. Cope Service Dogs had a van stolen from their Bradford Street location in Barrie on Monday, July 6th, and a second a week later on July 13th. According to Barrie Police, both have been found separately, both abandoned, and are now being searched for evidence. At this point, police aren't sure if the thefts are connected. There have been no arrests and the investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information is asked to call police or reach out to Crime Stoppers. Finally, to a story with a happy ending. A 29-year-old has been reunited with his bicycle after it was stolen from his family home in Barrie's East End. Now, this goes back to June. A mother posted on social media that her son's bike had been stolen despite being locked. She gave a description, 2 photos, and Barrie police took it from there, never giving up. After speaking with the mother, Constable Michael Bradley shared the info with the officers on his platoon and eventually spotted the bike, returning it to its rightful owner. The mom saying she can't put into words how amazing it was to see it return to her son, and the constable saying moments like these make him especially proud to wear the uniform and help others. Still to come, the story of Sir Frederick Banting, told through a historic park in New Tecumseh that's now officially updated and open once again. Plus, the success of Gilda's Club, the latest on the money raised from the calendar and how it supports hundreds of programs in our region and those touched by cancer. Stay with us. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Presented by Paul Sadlin Motors.
Music, it's a small community, so when something's really good, we all want to be part of it.
We have an amazing music scene here. Having people come together in community, listen to some amazing local artists, brings the downtown alive. It brings our city alive.
Troubadour Festival 2026 is going to be off the hook. We've got the Watchmen, Bahamas, going to be great.
Thanks for staying with us. With the beautiful weather, parks right across our region will undoubtedly be busy. And now there's another option in Alliston, and it's rich with history.
It's wonderful to see so many partners, supporters, familiar faces as we celebrate the official reopening of the Sir Frederick Banting Homestead and Heritage Park.
3, 2, 1, there we go. Reopening.
As you just heard, today marked the grand reopening of the Sir Frederick Banting Homestead and Heritage Park. The town of New Tecumseh celebrated the important milestone with a ribbon cutting, as the park is one of Canada's most significant cultural landmarks. It's where Sir Frederick Banting's story began.
The farmhouse has been restored and preserved with the intention of carrying forward the legacy of Sir Frederick Banting.
Over 100 years ago, insulin was discovered here. People like myself who I'm a diabetic, and there are many, many others. There's millions of diabetics out there. Allows us to live a fulsome and a longer life. And we gratefully thank Sir Frederick Banting.
What Sir Frederick Banting did do has helped so many people worldwide. And it's great to see how the homestead has been kept up. It's beautiful. And there's wonderful tours. I would suggest coming to do that.
The town adding this reflects its commitment to maintaining public access to the homestead while working in partnership with the Sir Frederick Banting Legacy Foundation. The site will continue to be integrated into the town's broader cultural and heritage programming. Gilda's Club Simcoe Muskoka announced another generous donation this week thanks to a unique initiative of highlighting cancer patients and their battles.
$11,722.81.
Nearly $12,000 was raised from Connect Hair Studio's raw and reflective calendars. The 12-month calendars feature 13 local cancer patients, and their images have been created by some of the top photographers in our region. Each patient has their story included and their life perspective based on this year's theme of clarity.
And we wouldn't be able to provide that service here at Gilda's Club if it wasn't for community fundraising like the Raw and Reflective.
It's a very vulnerable place to be. The men and women in our calendar have all had their journeys with cancer, and I think everybody has a story that they'd like to share. And these stories are what provide the inspiration to others who are just receiving diagnosis and give them strength.
At Gilda's Club here in Barrie, we provide cancer support for anyone on a cancer journey. Whether you're the patient, a family member, a friend, we're here for you in the community, and everything we offer here is offered free of charge.
The initiative has now been running for 7 years. Each calendar is sold for $25, with proceeds going straight to the 700+ programs provided by Gilda's Club to support those who have been impacted by cancer. The Collingwood Museum is offering a truly unique historical experience, an Inuit account of the doomed Franklin expedition of 1845 that resulted in the death of Sir John Franklin and all of his men in the search for the Northwest Passage.
When we got close enough, I'm sure there were different people. They were hairy, big, skinny, very skinny, tall. And when they arrived there,
Those are actual Inuit recordings that have been passed down through generations. They complete the story of the two British ships, the HMS Erebus and the HMS Terror, that became stuck in the ice of the Canadian Arctic back in 1846. A one-of-a-kind historical presentation that has a surprising Collingwood connection to the discovery of one of the ships.
Collingwood has a unique connection to the discovery of the HMS Erebus in 2014. One of 4 ships on that expedition is the Sir Wilfrid Laurier, a Canadian Coast Guard ship. And that was the last ship launched at the Collingwood shipyards in 1985.
The Ones We Met exhibit can be discovered at the Collingwood Museum until September 26th. Now, if you have not visited our CTV Barrie website before, we recommend you do so. Not only can you find our Around the Region items, you can also keep up to date with breaking news and rewatch any of the CTV Barrie newscasts. ctvnews.ca/Barrie is the website. Another step in the transformation and revitalization of downtown Barrie, the city announcing today a state-of-the-art stadium is coming to our region. Joining us now in the CTV Barrie studio, Barrie Mayor Alex Nuttall. You must be so excited, especially as a soccer or football fan. How long has this been in the works?
Well, it's been in the works on and off for the last 3 years, but really it started taking shape in the late winter this year, and to have Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment invest in the city of Barrie alongside our local Barrie Stadium group and the city. I think this is an incredible day, obviously, for the city of Barrie, and a unique opportunity for our young people and certainly for entertainment to continue to happen in our downtown.
Well, I'm happy to see the scarf up close, because I gotta say, when we saw Luke's story and everybody was cloaked in a scarf in 33-degree weather, what's gone into this here?
Well, this is the scarf that was put together by Barrie Stadium Group for the new Barrie Next Pro, and certainly this is going to be the start of what their branding is going to be. But to have, you know, all of these professional soccer players come to Barrie, put on these incredible games, and to have Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment invest here is just it's a big thing for the city of Barrie. And when you put that beside the opportunity for young people, like whether you're talking about rugby or soccer or football, or maybe it's some sort of other sport we can play there. The community hub as a whole, this is going to be a transformational space, and we're really excited about that.
We're looking at a rendering of it right now. So we know 3,500 seats, capacity over 8,000. So my question is, if we're looking at 450 parking spots, do you think that's going to be enough?
Well, actually, the really nice thing in the area is there's 1,000 spots within 500 meters. And on top of that, we have the next door building to this proposed site is also agreed to help with their 500 spots. So we're going to end up in the neighborhood of somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 spots available, which is certainly more than enough. But there's actually one really cool thing that we're going to be doing as a city for all of our sports, not just for soccer, but certainly for sports and our performing arts, is that when you go and buy a ticket to one of these events, you'll be able to get access to our transit system to attend them. So we really want people to have the opportunity to use our public transit. If you want to go down for dinner and a glass of wine, you don't have to drive home. You have this opportunity to wrap that all into the purchase of your ticket, whether it's soccer, baseball, the performing arts, or obviously the Barrie Colts are huge in this community over at Sadlon Arena.
Just to play devil's advocate here, Mayor, obviously growth is an important piece of the puzzle, but what about people that live downtown and work downtown? Do you think that this might make it a little overwhelming or difficult to work around?
Well, I think it's really important to look backwards to see what that looks like. We had Dunlop Street Arena that was down here, literally on this site and beside it. That had 3,000 seats. This has 3,500. it was the thing that catapulted that West End, made it alive, brought families down, kids down, grandparents down to watch their kids play, then going for an ice cream, or maybe it's a dinner or a lunch or what have you. So it's going to be a really good opportunity to have people in the area, and we certainly have a ton of parking. You know, there's always going to be the need to ensure that our business community downtown is successful, to attract people there, and this is just another step in that. But if you can look at the dream of what downtown can be, we have a beautiful, historic downtown, and as long as we can have the right types of events happening, those family-friendly events that, you know, we get to go and be at all the time as well, I think it'll have a really positive effect for our downtown businesses.
Okay, we'll leave it there for today. I understand you're off to your son's soccer game, so we won't keep you any longer.
No, my daughter's today, my daughter's. But you know what? I think we should leave this with the team here at CTV. So here's your very own scarf.
Thank you so much.
Now remember, it was worn in 42-degree heat, okay? So.
Oh, that's what I smell. Thanks a lot, Mr. Barrie.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Let's head outside to Casey.
I smell that inside. You smell smoke outside. In fact, it's affecting the air quality. And if you're in Minden, Ontario, North Bay, or even Sudbury, it's labeled as unhealthy air right now, and it's drifting south. More on the weather coming up in just a few moments' time. Let's take a look at our Weather Watcher artiste. And as we have a look at our Weather Watcher artiste, Joanna says, hey, you know what? This smoke's getting so thick, it's starting to change the color of the spider webs. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Hi, we're Martin and Steph
from Bounce 104.1.
And this week on the show, we're giving away meet and greet tickets to see the Watchmen at the Troubadour Festival.
Yeah, so make sure you're listening Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 10 for your chance to win.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 104.1 and Pure Country 106.
We are celebrating keeping cool this week here on CTV Barrie, but it's not so much about you. It's about your four-legged friends, perhaps your feathery friends. I don't think we've seen any birds or lizards quite yet. Keep those photos coming. Picture this at ctv.ca. Case, I know you always enjoy wearing hats and clothing that support different organizations in the region. Well, we've now got the scarf. I think given the temperature, it might not want to be something that you slip on quite yet. And I was only joking. It doesn't smell bad. It actually smells quite nice. You want to smell?
You know, it smells like smoke out here. That's all I can smell right now. And let me tell you, it does not smell nice out here. And if you have respiratory problems, it can be a real concern. It truly can. Let's continue on with the forecast and an air quality alert in some areas of our region. And this might give you some indication from our 1,000-foot tower cam here, 33 Beacon Road, CTV News Barrie, looking out towards Kempenfelt Bay, and that's the city of Barrie in the distance. And yes, the haze is coming in, the smoky haze is coming in, and it looks like it's to stick around for the next few days anyway. We're going to need a little bit of rainfall to clear that out. And when do we get that, little weather boy? Well, let's begin the weather story with factoring in the humidex as far as our temperatures go. 37 degrees in Owen Sound right now. 37 is what it feels like with the humidex in Orillia. We're looking at 35 in Parry Sound, where we're up Parry Sound tomorrow on the water. Looking forward to that. And 42 degrees, ladies and gentlemen, in the big smoke called Toronto this evening. And as mentioned, air quality alerts right throughout our region and expanding, and heat warnings right across our region. The almanac, 31 and 20, the high, the low, 36.1. So are we close to a record? Yeah, we're close. 1868, though, was a long time ago for the record, for a heat record, and record low 5.9 in 2009, which wasn't that long ago. 15 hours, 11 minutes of daylight. Roll that forecast radar, if you would, please, Adam. And as we take a look at the forecast radar, there is some active weather to the east of us and right around the Quebec border. And, well, as we blast on through, we see some cloud comes in and an opportunity for a shower. Well, there is an opportunity, and we're just going to call it that because we're not saying it's going to happen for sure. About a 40% chance thereof. Let's break it down, take a look at some of the numbers this evening. And this is southern tip of Georgian Bay, Lake Simcoe. Overnight temperatures 21, 22. Increase in cloud cover in the Owen Sound area. Clearing skies just about everywhere else, but you won't be able to tell because of low-lying smoke. The local smoke is what we refer to it as. And then for tomorrow, 30 degrees. Feeling like 34 with a humidex, and it's fair skies, but the local smoke wants to stick around. So the stinky air, yeah, it's going to stick around. Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, increase in cloud cover this evening. And then for tomorrow, 31, 32, feeling 37 for mainly sunny conditions for you to enjoy tomorrow. Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Haliburton, 18, 19, 20 degrees, partly cloudy skies. There is a 40% chance of a shower, possibly even a thunderstorm in Parry Sound, Huntsville this evening, and then it starts to clear right out. And then 29 and 30 tomorrow, feeling like 34 degrees. Pretty much wide open sunny skies. Might have a few clouds kicking around the Haliburton region, but the heat for the most part sticks around, as does the local smoke. And really questionable air quality. Diamond & Diamond Lawyers, 5-day extended forecast. Let's continue on with the forecast. And here, yeah, more sun is what we're looking at. And heat, well, we're a bit of a reprieve as far as the obsessive heat, or oppressive heat, rather. And Thursday, Friday, sunny skies, 28, 25. So we're backing off a bit as far as the thermometer goes, temperature. And Saturday, Sunday, at this point, only a 30% chance of a passing shower, 25 degrees, looks like 25 in fair skies on Sunday. 5-day extended forecast, York region, have a look. Thursday and Friday, if you like sunshine, well, 29, 27 and sunny skies, that's certainly summer. Ooh, there's a lot of S's there. 27 degrees and a 30% chance of shower activity in York region on Saturday under cloudy skies, and 26. And the sun comes back along with a few clouds on the Sunday. This is the 5-day extended forecast for Muskoka, Haliburton, and Parry Sound, and we're looking at Thursday being a slight chance of a passing shower, 29 degrees, but sun still present, and certainly Friday, 27 degrees. Saturday at this point, Saturday and Sunday, there is some cloud cover. Certainly Saturday looks like cloud cover dominates, and 25 degrees, 40% chance of a shower, and a 30% chance of a shower on the Sunday, but still a snippet of sunshine from the stinky garden.
Sending it back inside the Sarah.
With today shaping up to be one of the hottest days of the year so far, Toronto is one of the hottest in Canada. CTV's John Musselman has more on how our country's largest city is trying to stay cool.
Knew it was coming. Hot, hazy, and humid. Today was all about finding relief. A dip in Lake Ontario sure helped.
Too hot for me.
What's the lake like?
Lake, it's quite warm, thank you.
The waterfront was a popular spot today. A breeze off the lake made it seem much more bearable.
Yeah, there's some pockets of the breeze, and that's really nice, but overall it's really humid, and it feels like we're on vacation.
I'm visiting from Nova Scotia, and I always spend the days at the beach, and this is a good reason to come down here.
We had pretty good weather in Vancouver for the first part of the summer, and then it's been a little chilly for the past couple of weeks, so it's really nice to have a bit of a little bit of a summer vibe away from home.
Some city pools are offering extended hours tonight, including here at Sunnyside.
It's fine right now until it hits 37. I can handle this. But yeah, it's hot.
Toronto could see record-breaking temperatures. It also means an increased risk for heat-related illnesses, including heat stroke.
It can start off quite vague, things like a headache, feeling tired, a bit nauseous, even a bit dizzy. And then if it's more severe, people are actually going to not be thinking right. They might be confused.
The heat can also affect your transit commute. Officials at Metrolink sent out this advisory. Quote, during prolonged periods of high heat, we are required to run our trains at slower speeds to ensure the safety of our customers and crew. Slow orders are issued along the network. As a result, some trips may be canceled or delayed on your line or arriving later than originally scheduled at their destination. Still, there are plenty of people who refuse to complain about the heat. Remember this? January 25th, we were digging out after a massive snowstorm. It was a long winter.
This is what I'm telling people. Whenever you complain about something like this, remember how you were dying a few months ago, trying to protect yourself from all this cold and rain and whatnot.
Tomorrow we will get a bit of a break, but the temperatures will still be above 30 degrees Celsius.
John Musselman, CTV News, Toronto.
And now back to those hazy skies and wildfires. Residents of several communities in northwestern Ontario have been ordered to flee their home because of the nearby wildfires. The OPP posted a list of the areas that are affected by the mandatory evacuation order and say people in 3 other regions should prepare in case they also have to leave. Emergency Management Ontario is urging evacuees to head south to Thunder Bay. There are 128 fires in the northwest region right now. 53 of them are considered out of control. 29 active fires are also burning in the northeast. And more healthcare organizations across the province are adopting a new resource that was developed by our region's largest hospital. The web-based tool is called Ask Me GOC and was created by 3 physicians at Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre. It offers a new platform for patients and caregivers to have clear conversations about subjects such as treatment preferences, resuscitation decisions, and goals of care. The hospital says a lot of these conversations happen for the first time during a crisis, but Ask Me GOC helps them happen beforehand, reducing burden on patients and the overall healthcare system. The tool is being implemented by organizations that include Orillia Soldiers Memorial Hospital, Muskoka Algonquin Healthcare, Niagara Health, and Sioux Area Hospital, among others. Well, the question, to fill or not to fill, that's a question fueled by uncertainty. Next on CTV Barrie, when to get gas, why it's spiking, and whether there's reprieve in sight. Please do stay with us. Recapping our top stories, the city announcing a new stadium in partnership with Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, which will bring a state-of-the-art facility to the former site of the Barrie Central Collegiate. It will serve as the future home for Toronto FC2 and is set to be ready for 2028. The heat wave continues today. It was forecasted as a peak of this week's heat event and one of the hottest days of the year. Temperatures soared into the high 30s and humidex values reached the mid-40s. And the trial of an Orillia man accused of second-degree murder is underway in a Barrie courtroom. A jury will decide the fate of Brian Lancaster, who was charged with second-degree murder in the stabbing of 25-year-old Kyle Farrows in his downtown Orillia apartment. The trial is scheduled for 3 weeks. With tensions high in the Middle East, we can expect another big jump in prices at the pumps. CTV's senior correspondent Adrian Gobriel on skyrocketing costs and who will feel it the most.
The painful process of pulling up to the pumps is set to get even pricier.
Every time I hear the news is going up, it's a scary thing, man.
Gas prices are ticking upwards at midnight, anywhere from 5 to 10 cents per liter, depending on where you're located in the country.
We are seeing the effect of a shortage, of scarcity, of an energy crunch.
This is the average predicted price for regular gas in cities across Canada as of tomorrow, with one of the highest expected averages to be found in Vancouver at 198.9. One of the cheapest averages will be located in Edmonton at 165.
The world is quickly running out of oil, available oil to meet demand.
The price for Brent crude today hovered around $85 per barrel. The price this time last year was $66.84 per barrel. Stateside inflation in the United States cooled last month in part because of a dip in gas prices. While the renewed strikes on key assets by both the U.S. and Iran in the Gulf has been a driving factor behind the rise in oil prices for a second consecutive day.
It's frustrating. It's a little bit scary, you know, because I got a kid that I got to feed as well.
I still need to drive, so it's going to feel, yeah.
The road ahead for budget-conscious consumers and drivers remains both turbulent and unpredictable.
An additional heads up for those families who are planning to load up their cars and head out for a summer road trip this weekend. Gas prices are expected to continue to increase later this week. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Let's move right into our markets on this Tuesday. The TSX was up 67 points, the Dow was up 9, and the Nasdaq was up 233. And commodities, oil was up, closing at $79.34 a barrel. Gold was up, finishing at $4,069 an ounce, and our dollar was up, ending the day at 71.09 cents US. And now to the World Cup, where Spain defeated France this afternoon to move on to the finals.
Mikel Oyarzabal strikes first for Spain.
Mikel Oyarzabal opened the scoring from the penalty spot after Lamine Jamal was brought down in the box. Pedro Porro then sealed the win with a stunning second goal. Spain will face either England or defending champion Argentina in the final. France will play in Saturday's third-place match. And baseball's biggest stars will hit the field in Philadelphia tonight for the MLB All-Star Game, and several of our Jays will be representing the American League. Dylan Cease is set to start on the mound. Ernie Clement is starting at second base. Closer Louis Varland will be in the bullpen, and manager John Schneider will serve as the bench boss for the AL squad. Well, imagine coming out on top by being able to handle a hefty slap to the face. Coming up next here on CTV Barrie, how a Southern Ontarian became the best in the biz by training overseas and giving back to vulnerable children. Her story after the break. Here's a look at your primetime lineup. MasterChef Canada starts at 8, followed by Sherlock and Daughter at 9 p.m., Criminal Minds at 10, and CTV News Barrie at 11. A Southern Ontario woman has become a champion in Power Slap, a growing combat sport. CTV's Colton Weens has more on her unique journey to the title.
Women's Flyweight Champion of the World, Ellie Dempster!
Kitchener's Ellie Belly Dempster making history in Las Vegas on Friday, becoming the first ever women's flyweight champion in Power Slap.
I'm so grateful about it. No, I'm still a little bit in shock.
The 29-year-old, now a perfect 3-0 in her Power Slap career, defeating Zoe Dubois in a 5-round unanimous decision in the first ever women's title bout.
The performance was not great, but everything before it was.
How life brought her here, she never expected. Dempster grew up in the Huron area of Kitchener, roughhousing with her brother and playing sports like football and rugby. But fighting was never on the table.
I've always been in the really aggressive sports, but then fighting was only a thing once I moved to Thailand. My family's so gentle. I was working with an NGO that rescued children from sex trafficking. And I, looked at the situation. I went, if adults aren't taking care of you, how do I teach these kids to take care of themselves? And I was like, I'll teach them self-defense. And I awkwardly had to look at myself and go, I don't know self-defense.
That led to pursuing Muay Thai professionally with 12 wins, 9 knockouts, and 2 losses. Then invited to an MMA bout in the U.S., she tore her ACL but bounced back, landing in Power Slap. Now the only female flyweight with a knockout and a title.
Flyweight on the side. It's a hefty hecker.
Dempster also tries to shed light on charities with each bout and has raised $30,000 for an orphanage in Thailand and over $100,000 for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Every time that I get on stage, I do it for a reason. I have more of an impact being a voice than I do being a teacher. So I made the decision to move to America. And
while some frown at Power Slap for its lack of defense, Dempster says it has strict rules and competitors train their bodies to take hits. She hopes to defend her new title while continuing her combat career.
My career's just getting started. Start hitting 30, and for guys, that's when you start dwindling down. For females, oddly enough, that's when we've got more of a pathway for us.
Once a rough and tumble Kitchener kid, now on the world stage, taking it one slap at a time. Colton Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
Okay, so I guess there's something for everyone. Let's get right up into Get Up and Go.
Get up and go, let's go. Here we go. First thing tomorrow morning, we're looking at hazy conditions certainly overnight, smoky conditions overnight. You can smell it first thing tomorrow morning indeed. Sun, yeah, right across the board. Barrie, Newmarket, and Gravenhurst. Temperatures anywhere from 21, 23, 24 degrees. Beautiful day. Just a little on the stinky side. Back inside, Sarah.
Thanks very much, KC. And a reminder to all of our viewers that tomorrow is Tim Hortons Camp Day, so we will be out volunteering across the city. You can find me on Mapleview, so please do come on by. Good night.